The World Cup is 3 weeks away, and the USMNT roster was leaked today by The Guardian, and it has a lot of people up in arms debating on if Mauricio Pochettino selected the right 26 men to bring to the World Cup this summer. So I brought on my friend Derek Ritchie to discuss each position group and see if he agrees or disagrees with the selections that Mauricio Pochettino has made and rate the group, each group, 1 through 10, on 1 being horrible, 10 being good, and confidence for the World Cup. Now, before we get into that, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. We're only 13 subscribers away from 13,000. So make sure you guys subscribe and also hit that little bell notification so you never miss any of our videos. Now, let's talk about the 2026 World Cup roster. Derek, so there has been a leak for the USMNT roster for the 2026 World Cup. There's some people saying that they don't believe it yet, but I've heard it from many people that this is the legit thing. And you and I talked earlier on the phone, and you said, if I'm not mistaken, why would the Guardian put this out if it wasn't true, right?
Yeah. And I mean, you wouldn't waste your time, right? Because anybody could put out a fake roster. I'm sure they have something there, or else they wouldn't have done it. Although, that is not to say that the Guardian doesn't post a lot of junk, because they certainly do. But
yes,
I mean, this isn't like something that's going to gain them thousands and thousands of hits or something, or 5,000 hits, or maybe 3,000 hits at tops at best. Maybe some shares.
maybe. But so, okay. There was supposed to be an event Tuesday, a grand finale, a big celebration or reveal of like the roster.
It's been canceled.
They already canceled
it? I kid. No, they didn't cancel it.
Well, they might as well have canceled it, right? I mean, it's kind of irrelevant now. Like, who the hell's watching that now?
Right. I mean, people will watch it anyhow because they want to get to know the players. Most of us already know the players. Like, my mom will probably watch it. Well, I want to find out who is on the team,
Who is this Zendejas guy? Who is this? No, but that is crazy though, because it's like it kind of just took all the winds out of the sail. But there's a lot of people. I saw some people disappointed in this roster. Right? I think there's obviously there is a argument to be made of why you would be upset. But I'm not shocked, if that makes any sense. I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not surprised, because I thought the roster was always going to be weird, because Pochettino's rosters have always been weird since he's been the USMNT manager.
I mean, on the scale of weird, this is so predictable. Like, Brett and I had all of this already, except for, we didn't know Cardoso and Tessman were going to get hurt. So we had them on there. But we always said, hey, Berhalter or Roldan are making this team, and there's a really good chance both of them make this team. Regardless, I said it on Twitter the other day. So, I mean, their disappointments are probably, here's my guess. The disappointments are Miles Robinson, Berhalter, and Roldan. Those are the disappointments. Oh, I forgot Luna. There are people very invested in Luna. I get it. And in fact, I think U.S. Soccer made a pretty big investment in Luna too, because hell, they've had his face all over the commercials and everything. So, yeah, I get it. I get it why some people have very specific loyalties to certain players. Others are just worried we don't have enough midfielders. That's a legit worry.
It is. It looks pretty bare, which we'll talk about that. So I just want to say before we dig into this, right, that this is the alleged leaked roster from The Guardian. This is not officially put out by the USMNT account or US Soccer. This is just what they're saying is the official roster. So if this does change, we're just going with information we had. We want to talk about this because it just dropped today. But let's start off with the goalkeepers, okay? We've got Chris Brady, Matt Freese, Matt Turner.
Nothing earth-shaking there.
The only surprise I had, and I think I told you this earlier, was Chris Brady. Not because I didn't think he should make it, but I thought that Poach would probably take Schultes because he's got more experience in his with the players and stuff. He's more seasoned vet, and the third keeper is probably not going to play anyways. Which you could make the argument that's why Chris Brady's there. But I am glad Chris Brady is there because I think he's the future goalkeeper for us. But that's the only surprise. And it's not really a full surprise for me.
It's not a surprise. I think for me, this is what Brett and I picked too. You usually bring two solid vets, and then you throw a guy a bone who's younger. That's a lot of teams do this. So a lot of people don't know Chris Brady is a U23 player still because he's been around the league for a while. But yeah, he's still young. And in our discussion before, he's kind of the future probably. The future is not super bright or anything, but, Chris Brady could come around and become the kind of goalkeeper we need. It's possible. Compete with coaching, somewhere down the line for the starting spot of this team. We hope. I mean, we can only hope at this point because goalkeeper has turned into a not the best part of our team anymore.
Okay, so I'm gonna do an audible on you, okay? Mm-hmm. So throughout this position, we're gonna do, or this episode, we're gonna do 1 through 10 rank of your confidence in the group that we've selected, right? 1 being absolutely no confidence, 10 being like no worries at all, complete confidence. What would you say your grade is for this goalkeeping group we brought or bringing?
I'd give him a 5.
5. So you're right in the middle.
I am like kind of MEH on it. Kind of like I don't think that Freeze is going to completely fall apart and become Green, who just gifted a goal to Clint Dempsey in a World Cup. I don't think that's happening. But he's limited, and hopefully he just comes out and does his job. Without making any really horrible mistakes. Now, Matt Turner, if you put him in there, I might think a gaff might be coming. Freeze has had one gap in all the games he's played for us and generally doesn't make them as an MLS keeper. So I'm going to go with a 5-4. But, if this is Tim Howard, I'm going with a 9, right? I'm super confident in Tim Howard. I'm super confident in all our goalkeepers before. Guzan gets maybe a 7.5, 8, right? If he were still young enough to be here. But this, it's a 5. It's pretty bad.
This is the worst crop of goalkeepers we've ever had. Do you know this is the first time that the USMNT have had all MLS goalkeepers go to the World Cup?
Yes.
Ever? It's the first time ever in 2026.
Well, first time ever in the modern era. I mean, MLS didn't even exist in 1930s through 1950s. So.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I guess what I'm saying is since its inception, I mean, it's still crazy because even in the 90s, we had guys in the Premier League. We had several guys in the Premier League.
And even if you didn't, you still had Nick Raimondo here.
Yeah.
Excellent goalkeeper. I would take Nick Raimondo right now. You said, okay, well, Nick, let's get in a time machine and grab him and bring him here. You've got to be an MLS goalkeeper from the past. That's the guy I go get. He played his whole career in MLS, but he's an exceptional player with his feet and a super reliable shot stopper. So, this is bad, man. It's bad. I wish I could say better than a 5, but 50%, that's an F. It's an F. Sorry, that's what we got right now. We're used to having anything from an A- to an A+ as a goalkeeper.
What's crazy too is Raimondo was the third keeper in 14, and he's better than our first choice right now, which is just insane to think. 12 years later that would be the case, but that's just where we are.
It is.
So let's go next to defenders. We have Max Arvston, Serginho Dest, Alex Freeman, Mark McKenzie, Tim Ream, Chris Richards. Which we'll see. Chris Richards, I think, will be fine. I think he tore 2 ligaments in his ankle. I think is where it was like this past weekend, past week.
He tore them?
I think that's what it said. He tore. Yeah.
I mean, I read that too, and I thought he didn't tear them. That's serious. A tear? A torn ligament in your ankle? I was reading that too and thinking, surely they mean sprained or something, but a complete tear, I'm not buying. Otherwise, they would not be considering playing
He
him.
couldn't play, right? I mean, you can't play on torn ligaments in your ankle.
No. No,
And they said he had two torn ligaments, is what they
I
said.
think it was the coach who is German and maybe just doesn't understand what he said, who announced that. Chris has 2 torn ligaments in his ankle. No, they're probably just strained or sprained or something. Torn, like literally torn in half. I doubt it. So sometimes you can't take these coaches, 100% on their announcements. There's no way they're torn.
Yeah, that had to be a mix-up because he'd be out maybe even the rest of the year if that was the case, or at least several months. Jedi gets selected, obviously. Miles Robinson, Joe Scally, and Austin Trusty. Now, you said earlier that you and Brett had predicted this roster almost to a T, right?
Except for Miles Robinson. We did not have him.
Okay, so tell me, who did you have over Miles Robinson? And just because you predicted it doesn't mean this is what you would want. Is there anything that you would have liked to swapped out? And who did you have instead of Miles Robinson making it?
We just did not have an extra center back.
Okay.
Because we felt that Freeman could fill that role, and so could Scally if necessary. It just wasn't worth bringing another center back. But the word on the street is that the U.S. Soccer and the coaches and Poach's coaches tried to give Banks one more shot at this, see if he had, flipped that pancake yet. And on the other side of the pancake had a American flag burned on it. But apparently when he flipped the pancake, he still wasn't sure, or he wanted some sort of guaranteed, like, am I going to play? If I'm going to play, I want to go. But if you're not going to play me, I don't want to go, because then you're just cap tying me and I can't actually. So I don't know. But if that's true, either way, I was told that that's why we brought an extra center back. That would have been Banks. But, Miles Robinson's probably not going to play. I just don't see a reason why he would have to come in unless Trusty snaps some ligaments in his ankle, or Richards, pulls a left testicle. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to play. It's just depth, unused depth, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't too surprised with this. I'm curious to see who's going to actually start in the back four. I'm assuming I hope it's Mark McKenzie and Chris Richards. I hope it's not Tim Ream, but we'll see.
It will be
Tim Ream or Mark McKenzie
and Richards. Tim Ream. He's starting.
You think Tim Ream's going to start?
I'm just telling you, Poach. He's playing. He's not going to bring him to look at. He's bringing Tim Ream because Tim Ream is his boy, and he's going to play him. I would be shocked if he does not play. The only other thing I would add here, though, by the way, is Joe Scally. We were like teetering. We were like, you think he just doesn't like Joe Scally? I don't know. And then we ended up putting him on there anyhow because we're like, I don't know who else he's going to bring. So Scally's on there. Good news for Scally. But as far as I think Tim Ream's playing. I do. I know. Scary.
He's not been that good in MLS, and he's almost 40 years old. He's just and that's the thing is I know that you said that they like him, or at least one of his good qualities is he can play out of the back.
Yes.
He's really good. But his defending is so bad, I don't think it matters. Like, he is so bad in the back line at this point. He is a liability in the defense.
Here's what they're hoping. I'm just telling you what I think they're hoping. Well, Jedi's going to be there. And Jedi and Ream have a really great connection going back to the Fulham days. And they're hoping that Jedi can cover for any of Ream's shortcomings as far as speed, etc. That is what I believe they believe, that Jedi can do that kind of work up and down that wing, making sure that Tim Ream doesn't get exposed. And if you're playing three, you're also thinking, well, Richards will make sure he doesn't get, exposed in the inside. That's probably the thinking, because why is he coming? Otherwise, I mean, he's unless you're bringing him as a coach, I don't think that's the case. I really think Poach believes in Tim Ream. Scary, but I am not going to be shocked. Game 1, Tim Ream is starting at all. And besides, I think Poach has already looked at Trusty and McKenzie and Miles and the other options and gone kind of like, I don't know. They're all right. They're okay. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, so as far as also, too, I want to mention this with Max Arfson. He normally plays more as like a winger. Like, he's not really a true left back when he normally plays for Poach. I remember you made that lineup where you showed like where they were at positionally in the game, and you had him like way up in the, his positionally like way up where he's like a left winger.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, so he's a defender in name only, right? I'm not shocked that he's on the list, obviously, because we know that Poach loves him. But is there anyone that you could think of that you would have brought over him if you were making the decision?
I mean, you could argue Tolkien, but really, no. Paredes, no. Just got back from injury again. I don't know. Somebody could probably come up with something, but at this point, he's gotten so many minutes with Poach. It would be an absolute shocker if he didn't make the team. But we got Dest and we got Jedi, and that's what's important. They're going to start every game. You could theoretically use Weah back as a backup for Jedi or Dest as well if you want to, right? So that's an option. Hopefully Max Arfson only sees the last 10 minutes of games we're already winning 2-0. That's what I hope happens and that when we play him, we're playing in a back 5. So if he has to play left back, we are in a heap load of trouble because he can't defend. He can't defend. He can't. He's not a good, he's an okay defender in MLS, but the World Cup, he will get totally exposed. So you can't also put him out there with Ream. Then you got 2 naked dudes. One's playing left wing back and one's playing left center back. You might as well, hang that one up. Right?
Okay, so it's bad, obviously. So what would you give your grade as confidence on the defenders, 1 through 10?
6.
So a little better than the goalkeepers.
Only reason I will go as high as a 6 or maybe a 6.5 is the attacking prowess of both Dest and Jedi's ability to go both ways, be a great defender, and like the wings save this because the center backs, we got one reliable dude. His name is Richards. Everybody else is a big question mark. Everybody else is a 4. Chris Richards is a 6, right? But every other center back is a 4, like highly not somebody you want to rely on. And once you get past Destin Robinson, Scally's dependable, but Arfson is a complete, he can be totally broken down defensively. So 6 is being kind, I think.
I think I'm a 5 on the defenders because the fullbacks obviously are good. I think they're very, very good, but the center back, even with Richards is obviously great, but even if this is just like a sprain, I'm wondering how this is going to affect him maybe going into this. So I'm not sure how that's going to be. And if Tim Ream is starting, Derek, holy hell, like that's really bad. And that's why I'm like feeling very because he's like an anchor. He brings you down to the bottom of the seat. Like that is horrible for the overall grade as the unit, right?
Right. So, if you want to make a grade out of it, a 6 is still a D. It's a D-, right?
Yeah.
50's an F. At least the school I'm in.
Yeah. So that's definitely not good. So I'd say I'm about a 5. And I'm like a 4 on the goalkeepers. I don't know if I'd mentioned that. I'm a 4 on the goalkeepers. I'm a 5 on the defenders. Now the next group is the one that's got everybody kind of like spiraling, right? The midfielders that were announced: Tyler Adams, Sebastian Berhalter, Wes McKennie, Christian Roldan. End of list.
Well, the only thing I would say to people who are shocked by this is you shouldn't be shocked. Because Berhalter rolled on, that stuff was screaming from the mountains for It's been a year plus now. And then my other question is, like, who else you got? Aiden Morris? Yes, I'll give you that. Be nice to have Aiden Morris there. But Tessman's injured. Johnny's injured. I don't know. Who else are you going to bring? I don't know. I can't even think of another MLS player I would bring. And then if you want to pull one out of the hat, Sands is injured too. He's a real CDM. He could have played that spot. He's injured. I think Aiden Morris got a little screwed here in this deal because as far as being a real CDM, if Tyler Adams goes down, Morris is an actual real CDM replacement. Okay? Berhalter is not. And Norris rolled on. They play higher up the field for their teams. They do not play the destroyer role. Like the closest we have that's healthy right now is Morris. And so, I mean, some people are like, well, we could pull Tillman back to CDM or holding mid. I mean, yeah, I guess you could. He's done it before. Not really his spot, but I guess in a pinch, yeah, you could do that. It's not optimal. But, again, guys are injured. There's nothing we can do about that. So if somebody wants to, in the comments below, list out a great list of all these defensive midfielders that we have in abundance that we could replace or add to this midfielding lineup outside of Morris, let me know, because I can't think of one. Can you?
Well, a lot of people have been, they thought Jack McGlynn deserved a call up because he's been playing more centrally. He has been playing more centrally this year, though. I will say that he has been playing more in the middle than he has on the outside. But I know what you're saying. Like when you think of him, even when he played for the USMNT, he scored that goal with the friendlies against Turkey or Switzerland. I can't remember which one it was. He was on the wing, right? He was playing right mid,
right?
But he has been decent playing in the middle. But at the same time, if you take him, you're kind of like taking a guy who is starting to gain traction in that position, whereas everyone else we've named kind of has, they've already got a reputation of being good at, or at least, formidable at that position, rather than taking experimental player and an already 4-man roster spot, right? Or 4 men in that position. So, listen, I obviously wouldn't want Christian Roldan to be here. I wouldn't want Sebastian Berhalter to be here. Nothing against them, but it's more about injuries more than quality. It's not because he loves these guys, because it's all we have.
It's all we got left. I think Berhalter would have made the team regardless. I think Roldan was the one with his ass on the line there, and then lucky for him. But the only thing I would definitely do here is I'm dropping Miles Robinson off this freaking roster, and I'm pulling in Aiden Morris. Yeah. This is not enough midfielders. If Adams gets a red card or gets injured, which he has a total history of doing, then what are you left with? McKennie and who? Who's playing CDM? No one is. We don't have. It's going to have to be by committee after that. So this is also extremely scary now. This went from, we got Johnny. And we got Tessman. Now we got, this is paper thin, baby. Paper thin. One wrong, one bad tackle, red card, one injury, one, pulled left testicle, and we are screwed here. One case of hemorrhoids. That's how far, that's all we are away from being down to 3 choices for holding midfielders. The 2 most important spots on the team in front of our very weak back 5, back 3, whatever you want to call it.
So what's your grade on the midfielder? Like what's your grade on this, on the selection?
Well, Tyler Adams and McKennie's are 8 and 9s.
Yeah.
Everybody else, 3. So what does that add? That's like a 5 at best.
Yeah.
For what should have been a 7. If you've got Tessman here, a healthy Tessman and a healthy, Johnny. Yeah.
I think I'm a 3, and I know it's like very harsh, and it's just because the depth is so bad. It's so weak, like you're saying about like Tessman and obviously Johnny, but like, yes, Adams and McKennie are great. They're very good, but there's 2 guys behind them. That's it. So
And there's no way Adams and McKennie are playing 90 minutes of every single game coming up.
No.
It's not happening. Berhalter and Roldan are probably both going to play.
Yes, and that's scary, right? That is a huge liability in the midfield. So that's why I'm probably a 3. I can't believe they only took 4 midfielders, holding midfielders.
It's unreal. Yeah.
I thought at least they do 5. At least 5.
Yeah.
At least 5.
Bring in Morris, for Christ's sake. Drop Miles Robinson. Hopefully this Guardian thing is you can only hope it's foul and it's not true. But, at least Berhalter's having a great season this year in MLS. Roldan not having one of his best seasons in MLS. So I'm okay with the Berhalter thing. If he has to play, I think he'll probably hold his own, hopefully not make any big mistakes. And he's really good with set pieces. I don't know what a Roldan, who is not having a great season with Seattle, that he had last year, where you're like, okay, well, but he's really great for his team. This year, he's just been kind of good for his team, and it's sometimes not good. So, yeah.
Remind me real quick, Portugal and who is our other friendly against in March? Portugal and who else?
Don't we play Germany?
No, we played the previous one. I'm sorry. So we played Belgium. That's right. Belgium and Portugal is our previous. I was just bringing that up because
previous.
Yeah, because Berhalter and Roldan looked lost in those games they played.
Everybody did, though, to be fair, after 20 minutes.
They did, but that's just kind of like, we know at least some of these other guys can be good, whereas we're already kind of on shaky ground with these guys, and they kind of looked as we thought they would. But I remember I think Berhalter was the one who looked really bad. Like it just looked like the level of play was just way out of his realm. Like he just did not look like he could play with these guys.
And yet versus Uruguay, he played very well. And then yet Roldan played really well versus Australia. But hey, guys, it's not a whole lot to go on. Yeah. It's really not. And we're going to a World Cup. These aren't friendlies. I mean, the doo-doo is hitting the fan here. Okay, so yeah, I'm nervous as hell about this. Very
nervous.
I'm in a dark place right now. Yeah.
we'll talk about that at the end, but I agree with you. Okay, so let's move to attacking midfielders and wingers. Okay, Brendan Aronson, Pulisic, Reyna, Tillman, Weah, and Zendejas. Now, a lot of people were crying about Reyna and saying, oh my God, how did you bring him? He's been terrible for Gladbach. He's not played, and when he does, he's been very, very subpar. And I just saw so many people whining, how did you pick him over Luna? Luna actually plays. And I just said, look, the dude is way too talented to leave at home. When he plays, I feel like he obviously has looked better for country than club, but he's way too good to leave at home, regardless of what his form is right now with his club. I have no idea why people are crying about this. It's not like Luna was going to play. Reyna will probably play. I just don't know why people are up in arms about this.
Are you talking about that one asshat in particular on Twitter that always complains about Reyna? Yeah, there are a couple of those asshats. There's no way around it. They're going to be around the clowns. They hate Reyna in general. They say things like, oh, he treats everybody in the locker room like crap, all the assistants and helpers. And, he got really upset at them when they brought the wrong shin guards. And then he went out and berated some homeless people. I mean, come on. This is getting to the point of ridiculous. But the last 2 games that Reyna played for Mönchengladbach were actually quite good, which is a good sign since we're heading into the World Cup. And who else can make that? You got 10 minutes left in the game. You need a through ball to Haji Wright or Balogun, and to score a goal. That's your guy, man. He can make it happen. I don't know. I don't think he's going to start unless he comes in, with 25 minutes to go in one game and just dominates it. And then, Poch is like, well, hell, he's going to do that. Let's just start him, and we'll yank him in 60 if it isn't happening again. He's not really a defensive liability in the setup we would typically play, which is the 3-4-2-1. It's not going to be asked to play a whole lot of defense against Australia or Paraguay. So you could start him in those games. Turkey, it'll be a little bit more of a challenge, but yeah, he should be there. There's no reason he shouldn't be there unless you really, 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 really love Luna. And even Poach has said, and this was why we left him off our team, because of Poach's answer to the question, why haven't you been calling and playing Luna? And he said, well, since we switched to the 3-4-2-1, Luna has looked completely out of place. Okay, well, I guess a Poach believes he's not finding his place in that new formation, in the new way we're playing. I think he meant it when Poach said it, because he's only been positive about Luna ever until that quote. So that said to me immediately, he's sending a signal out. That guy might not make the team. And I am very happy for Zendejas, who has earned this. He's been one of the best players in Liga MX. He's one of he would be starting for Mexico. Okay? Everybody that has any clue about, how he's regarded in Mexico knows he would be either a starter or a first guy off the bench for Mexico if he was playing for Mexico. I'm glad he made it. He's also really close with Haji and Pulisic and McKennie and Adams. Those guys grew up together playing in youth teams. This will be good for chemistry. And so I'm not going to complain about Luna being missing. Somebody had to go.
Yeah, Zendejas is, been playing incredible for Club America. He's been so good this year. I was nervous if he's going to make it, not because he's been good, but because he's just been a bubble guy, right?
Yeah.
And I think Poach, well, at least that's what I thought before, and I still kind of do believe that he's more of a, I don't want to say a vibes guy, but who he clicks with. And that's why I thought maybe Zendejas might not make it because he'll pick someone else, but he made it. Thank God. I think he deserves to make it. As far as Luna has been overshined by another guy on his team in Gozo. So I think that's also hurt him because that guy's not even making it, and he's been their best player all season long.
He had another great game today.
Yeah, so that's another reason why I think that his stock has really fell the last probably 6 months to a year.
He also has a muscle injury, by the way, which we don't know how severe it is right now. He did not play today. He was out injured.
Yeah, so there's just a lot stacking against him.
Or he was emotionally unable to cope with not being on the team after this Guardian article came out and just couldn't handle it and told the coach, can you just say I pulled a hammy? Because I emotionally can't. We don't know because there were no reports of him being injured as far as I knew coming in today's game. And we're talking about today is Saturday when we're recording this. So,
yeah. And it's so funny. I'm not surprised that Tim Weah made the team because obviously he should, but it is funny in a sense because there's been a lot of back and forth between him and Poach in the headlines, right? He was even he went to I know he went to some news conference I think the other day. New York City talking about the tickets. Yeah, talking about the ticket prices, and obviously it's something different, like kind of against of what
he's
Poach
already been told to shut up about it.
Yeah. So he's been outspoken and kind of like adversarial to Poach a little bit. So like it's a little interesting. I mean, he's going to make the team. Now, is he going to play much? I guess to be determined, right?
He probably will. I don't know about starting, but he'll play.
Yeah. So I think this is good. This is probably the best lineup of so far we've talked about. I would give this one a 7 out of 10. What would you give this group?
Well, if Pulisic were playing better right now, I'd give it an 8. But right now, I'm still a little concerned, so I'm giving it a 7, just like you. I'd like to say 8. I felt like, give me 6 months ago, I probably would have said 8. If these were the guys were going to tell me we're going. And I'm glad to see Aronson on this team because he earned it. His play at Leeds and in the Premier League this year, he's a useful player in several different game situations. So he'll be good. Yeah, I think this is fine. I think I'm been very disappointed with Timothy Tillman's season. I've been very disappointed with Timothy Weah's season. Very disappointed with Gio Reyna's season. So really, if you're telling me who am I proud of this season, who played well for their club, It's basically Brendan Aronson and Alejandro Zendejas and half a season of Pulisic, because he's in the doldrums too right now with AC Milan. So right now, the scary fact is that Pulisic's not been playing well. Gio Reyna finally got to play 2 games. Good. Malik Tillman had an extremely MEH season, and he did finally start again last weekend, but he got benched, obviously, for a month and a half. That's not good. Timothy Weah made very little impact this year on Marseille, even though he started almost every single game. So, and, you know, Alejandro Zendejas, or as my mom would say, Zenjas. She says, who's this Zenjas player? Yeah, he had a great season, 2 in a row. So maybe we're focused on the right guys, wrong guys coming into the World Cup. Who are the hot guys? I mean, Brendan Aronson isn't hot, but he's played all season. Then he's consistent, and Zendejas has just been on fire for 2 seasons in a row. Everybody else has been kind of like, okay. So even though we're giving this a 7, honestly, we could give it a 6.5 or a 6, just based on current club form.
The only reason I give it a 7 is because the bottom tier guys are actually really good, and that, or at least they've had good run of form lately. That makes me feel better.
Which guys?
And I know that that the top guys, if they play to their ability, this would be the best position group, obviously, on the team.
Well, you just said it. If they play to their ability, though.
If they play to their ability, I say I'm a 7. Still, I'm gonna stick with a 7. But I know what you're saying, because it is it's very grim right now for at least Pulisic. Pulisic can't ever have more than 3 good months in a row. Like, he's incapable of having a better stretch. If he has 3 good months, that normally means an injury's around the corner, and then when he gets back from injury, he starts playing. He's just not good.
Well, as his coach said, he's very sensitive.
He is.
He's very sensitive. So, you know, he's the kind of guy, like the great players. They might have a bad game, but they're like, that, man. Next game, I'm picking those guys up. I'm taking those guys to town. You know, that's what the greats do. And even he said it on his little show, Pulisic, his little Paramount show. You know, one thing I got to improve that all the great players have, or maybe that's not how he talks. And all the great players have is, like, they're arrogant, right? They have full 100% belief in themselves. That's what I need to do next. Not there. He's not there. So still some work for Pulisic to do. Sorry, that was a really bad Pulisic.
No, I thought that was him on the show. Is that him? Is that you, Christian? No, but you know, I agree. Like, that's obviously one of the most deflating things about this whole situation is just his form, because he's supposed to be I'm tired of calling him, like, you know, the savior of U.S. soccer, because I'm not going to call him that anymore. But he's supposed to be very important, and he's just not playing. He's not at a level where he's going to do that for this team.
The way things are going right now, Will, Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie may be the 2 most important players on this team right now. Both are in great form, and both have had really great seasons when healthy. Yeah, those are the 2 hottest players on this team right now. So outside of Zendejas, which of course people are going to go, well, he plays in Mexico. That's really not important. They may say that. That's fine. So if you want to just go with the Big 5 leagues, those are the only 2 guys that are hot right now. Like, seriously. Hot.
I don't think there was a single U.S. player who had a better 25-26 season than Weston McKennie.
Right. Maybe Flo. I'm sorry. I didn't add Flo to that. Flo's hot too.
Flo's hot, but McKennie, like, I just thought McKennie had the best season of his career, which he normally does when his back is against the wall.
Right.
He always, anytime that Juve, or he gets any type of indication Juve might be one to move off, give his parking spot up, give his number away. Yeah. That, like, brings the best out of him. It happened a couple years ago. I think it was 2023, 2024 season, I think, was another good season for him. Maybe it's 22, 23. Either way, whenever his back is against the wall, Weston McKennie normally always delivers, which is a good thing. That's kind of like adversity in your stars. You want to see that. So we'll see. I mean, I do feel the best about this positional group, but it's still not where it needs to be.
I guess you got to find some good somewhere, my man.
Yeah, exactly. The next position group, which is strikers, we got Flo, Pepe, Haji Wright. I actually feel pretty good about this group.
I do too.
I feel very good, and I'm so happy Haji Wright is the third striker.
Me too.
I'm so happy. I do think that if Ajimong, which is not an Ajimong bashing episode, I'm not going to get into that. If he were healthy and hadn't ruptured his Achilles, maybe he'd be on this team. I think Haji Wright still probably would as well. I think he probably would have taken 4 strikers. I think that was maybe even said by someone today. But these are the top 3 options up top that we have. I'm very content with this. Mm-hmm. And this is about it. This is honestly the perfect selection of all the groups to me. This is as perfect as it gets.
I'd say this is an 8. If you're going to give a high number, here's the spot you do it, 7 or an 8. Just because Flo's been so good this season. Ricardo, Pepe, when healthy, it's just scoring on the regular. Yes, I know it's in Holland. I know. To those who will say that. And then Haji Wright, again, a really solid season. Got Coventry City promoted. Yes, I know it's the championship. And I know that's not as good as it used to be because Patrick Ajimon plays there now. But tact. But still, this is a good group. And yeah. By the way, I've yet to actually have that debate with Tact. I want to have it. Is the championship as bad as he thinks it is since Patrick Ajimon did so well? When I predicted right from the start he was going to do great because he's a large mammal, and large mammals at center forward perform well in the championship. That's just how it works. It's a physical league.
Which MLS is physical. So yes. So it's a good transition for him. Mm-hmm. And I do think, he has played pretty well. He has played well in the championship. I'll give him that. And obviously, it is unfortunate that he ruptures Achilles because he had a good season. That's not an easy injury to come back from.
That's a year.
Yeah, and even after a year, you still might not be the same.
You get ruptured again.
Yeah, so I'm hoping he's good. But as far as these guys, I love Flo. I'm a huge Pepe guy. Love Pepe. I'm a big Haji Wright guy. If any of these guys get injured, I feel good about the backup.
Yeah, me too.
I feel good. I feel very good about the backup. This is the only group where number 2 and number 3 I have confidence in.
Yeah, I'd agree. Although I think we know who the 1 and 2 are.
Yeah,
I think
of course.
Coach is pretty much kind of already thrown some hints around there that Pepe's the 3. For whatever reason, he just hasn't given him a whole lot of playing time. Or spotlight. So we'll see. I think when Flo comes out, Wright comes in. I don't think it's, unless we need a goal, then you throw in Pepe and Haji and take Flo out and pull out a center back or something. Who knows?
You know what's so funny, though, is that historically we haven't been super strong at striker. We've had some guys that are good and serviceable, but that's always been a position we really, we were lacking, right? It's so funny that our striker position is an 8 and our goalkeeper is a 5 now in 2026. It's just hard to believe how much the pendulum has swung at this point. I feel like I have literally no concerns about the striker position, but I am very, very pessimistic about the goalkeeper position.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely crazy how if I told you that 15 years ago, you would be like, what? There's no way. There's no way that every goalkeeper starting is in the MLS. Then you got a Ligue 1 striker, a guy who's going to the Premier League, and then another guy, 2 guys in the Premier League, because Pepe's going to Fulham, and then obviously Haji Wright's going to be playing in, Coventry's going to be playing in the Premier League. It's just crazy how much has changed, just even after the last 10 years.
Yeah, since Dempsey, who we mashed into a striker role, who we really had, we tried a lot of guys. We didn't even really have a whole lot of Brian Chings or anything like that, players like that we could mash in there that would perform. We've tried everybody in their mother, and these are the guys, thankfully, that have kind of rose to the top, if you will. So no Brian White. Sorry, Vancouver fans. No Brian White. It's making, can you believe that was a discussion with Tab Ramos?
I can believe this discussion, but it's nonsensical, obviously.
I do think it's because the show is an MLS related show or a mainstream show. He gets asked really dumb questions and then he's kind of backed into a corner. He's like, well, I'm not going to, what do I say? You know, I can't say Brian White is okay. You know, I got to bark this guy up, man. I got to talk about him.
He's a fringe player for the national team for the World Cup. He should be on the roster. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I agree that's crazy. I mean, no, you can't. That's the thing. It's like that's a non-starter. He should not. And I like Brian. I have nothing against him, but you know, he would not. He probably wouldn't even be in my top 5 if I'm being honest with you.
And Tab, you don't need to kiss U.S. Soccer's ass or MLS's ass or Don Garber's ass this much, right? They don't need it. They're fine. Go back to what you were doing before, being critical. That is a much better place for you.
Yeah, and plus, just to hit on what you just said, I mean, there's 8 MLS guys on this World Cup roster. That's more than I thought was going to be a year or two ago. Did you think 8 MLS guys? Now, regardless of injuries, did you think 8 MLS guys would make the 26-man World Cup roster 2 years ago?
No, I did not. But then again, I don't really consider Tim Ream an MLS player. I don't consider the 3 goalkeepers in that 8. So now we're down to 4. And of the 4 that made it, Miles Robinson's not playing. God help us. Christian Roldan's not playing, but he probably will.
Berhalter will probably play.
Berhalter will probably play. He might even play a bigger role than we're even imagining right now. Who are the other guys? Who am I missing?
Arfston.
Okay. He'll probably barely play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else? We're down to two more we haven't mentioned here.
So 3 goalkeepers, Arfston's 4, which I'm counting that as the 8. Ream, that's 5.
I don't count Ream.
That was in my inclusion. So yeah, if you take the goalkeepers out, so if you don't count Ream and the goalkeepers, it was just 4. 2 defenders and 2 midfielders. Roldan, Berhalter, and Arfston and Ream. Or not Ream. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. No, I mean the reason I don't count Ream as a MLS player is obviously he played over a decade in Europe. Yeah. Now he's an MLS player now, but that's less important than the fact that he's old.
Yeah, because he came in the twilight of his career, not because he's not an MLSer for life.
I still can't believe, man, we wasted a pick for Miles Robinson. We could have used another midfielder so bad on this roster. That is my biggest freaking complaint. Like Aiden Morris would have been much more useful than Miles Robinson riding pine 90 minutes every game. And God help if that's not true. Because I don't need to see Miles Robinson pick up one of the CB spots when we got Joe Scally and Freeman. All right? Freeman or Joe Scally over Miles. Like you already got 2 other backs that can play center back. What is the point of having Miles Robinson there? I do not see it. I do not understand it. It's a wasted pick. Heck, man, bring a 4th goalkeeper. Bring coaching. I'd be happy with that over Miles Robinson. I really would. But the fact that, and this is a small complaint, obviously, but look at the midfield. Look, like you can read it in 10 seconds. You can read their names of their teams, the players, and you're done. You're like, that's all? That's it? We don't have a single other guy that can play holding CDM. This is scary. This is really scary, Will.
Okay, I'm not going to do a prediction. We talked about that maybe before we did the show. I'm going to save that because, we're just focused on the roster today, but I do have a fun question for you to kind of wrap up the show, okay? Comparing this roster, because this is allegedly the 26-man roster for the 2026 World Cup, would you take this roster, the 22 roster, or the 2014 roster?
You'd have to refresh me on 2014, but I believe
2014, Fabian Johnson, Matt Beasler, Jeff Cameron, Michael Bradley, Josie Outdoor, Clint Dempsey, Alejandro Bedoya, Tim Howard, obviously the Jordan
I'm Green. Taking that lineup already. Yeah. You don't have to even say anymore. You said Tim Howard. That was enough. I'm
Michael
thinking that.
Bradley was pretty good back then too. I know Michael Bradley gets a lot of. I mean, Michael Bradley would be one. I mean, he's obviously going to be
This
ahead
is
of
Brazil,
Berhalter.
right?
Well done. Say what?
Brazil,
Yeah.
2014.
Yes.
So
yes.
it's missing Donovan.
Yeah. Donovan didn't play. Yep.
But generally, you got Moadu. Yeah, I'm taking that team.
Yeah.
It did have as well Jermaine Jones.
Yeah, Jermaine Jones. Yeah, for sure. Jermaine Jones. Kyle Beckerman was on that team.
Yeah.
Guzan, obviously. Ramondo was on that team.
Yep.
Omar Gonzalez.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember who was Timmy Chandler was on the team. I'm trying to remember who the left back was because Fabian Johnson played right back.
Beasley.
Yeah. That's right. DeMarcus Beasley. Yeah, that team was way better.
Oh,
that team was way better.
It's way better team.
Yeah.
This team is shaky as hell compared to that team. Like that 2014 team had some core guys, Jermaine Jones and Dempsey and Tim Howard. Yeah, you were fine. You felt okay going into that World Cup. Maybe the only thing you were pissed about was Donovan not being on the team, right? Other than that, you're like, we'll probably be okay. We'll be fine. This is not, it looks like this could be Grim Reaper shit if things don't go well. Okay? So I know you want to save that for another show, but
I want to share this with you real quick. I want you to see that. I'm going to zoom in on it. This was our starting 11. I mean, it's obviously we don't have the names, but you got the face. I mean,
I know them all.
Yeah. I mean, Zusi maybe was a weaker spot. Zusi was okay back then, but I mean, having Tim Howard, Jermaine Jones, Clint Dempsey,
Zusi
Jeff
was
Cameron,
a pretty good MLS player.
No, he was good. No, he definitely was good, but that would be one of the weaker spots of the starting 11.
Beasler and Zusi were probably, and they're not even that weak compared
to now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we've got better wing backs now.
Yeah.
Right? And right back, left back, whatever you want to call them. And that's, I believe, what Zusi was playing at the time. But I mean, Beasler, that's kind of a question. But you do have Jeff Cameron next to him,
who was good.
He was really good,
and you had Tim Howard behind him, who was the best, right?
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say too. Yes, obviously Dest and Robinson are way better than Beasley. And actually Fabian Johnson was very good at that point. I don't want to put him down. He was very good. He might have been better than Serginho Dest, to be honest with you. He might have been.
Yeah, he was up there. Mm-hmm.
But I would say that our center backs were stronger than they are. Well, maybe I don't know. I guess it's a preference thing, but I think Beasler's definitely better than Tim Ream at this point. Beasler's definitely better than Miles Robinson. So the wing backs weren't better than they are now, but they weren't as bad as our center back position is now, if that makes any sense. Like it was the back line was very well rounded out at this time. So I would take this, and Kyle Beckerman was pretty damn solid in 2014. He was very good.
Oh, his soccer IQ is off the charts. That's the only reason Kyle Beckerman, outside of his technical ability, was so good. He had a soccer IQ beyond anything you can imagine. And even though he had, it seemed like sometimes, concrete blocks on his feet, but he was there before he needed to be there. He never had to react because he was already there. That's Kyle Beckerman for you. Jermaine Jones to me and Clint Dempsey are the biggest, and Tim Howard are the big three on that squad in 2014. We don't have anyone close to that outside of Adams on our team. As far as grit, nastiness, fight. Like, that's another thing I'm really concerned about right now. If this goes south, do we just fall apart in front of our whole country's eyes?
Probably.
I mean, it could happen. People crumble. People do three things under pressure. They become extremely conservative, they rise to the occasion, or they crumble like a
cookie,
cheap pair of bricks. Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could probably have a whole show on which one of those three propositions are most likely.
And keep in mind, real quick, I always have to mention about that 2014 team, because that 2014 team might be the most underrated USMNT team of all time. It's very underrated, I think. They got out of a group with Germany, Portugal, and Ghana. And Portugal had prime Ronaldo. Germany won the World Cup, and Ghana was no slouch either.
No,
They got out of that group.
that's a great World Cup. I remember it like it was yesterday, practically.
Yeah.
I mean,
no one thought we were getting out of that group.
Yeah.
No one thought we were getting out of that group, by the way. Nobody thought we were getting out of that group, you know? So that was very impressive. We'll just see what happens. But before I let you go, can you tell the people where they can find your show at and what days you're on?
Yeah, the Straight Red Card is on YouTube every Monday from 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time till God knows whenever the show ends. And you can find me at Boomer Richie on Twitter as well as Straight Red Card, and that is Brett, not me. So Brett said something stupid, that's on him.
Exactly. We'll blame
He
him.
rarely does, though. The stupid people, they're usually around him. He's not the stupid one.
He's a magnet for him. Listen, I appreciate you for coming on. Make sure you guys go check them out at the Straight Red Card every Monday night. And I think they're probably going to be doing Thursday nights too, maybe when stuff starts to ramp up. So they'll be doing the 2 shows a week again. Derek, it's always a pleasure to have you on, my friend. Guys, thank you guys for watching. If you like this, make sure you give it a like down below. And until next time, I will see you all soon.